Hello. Figured I'd try something different. Gonna give this spooky game a try. Apparently it's called the Physical Exorcism series. And I saw like a playthrough of one of the games, and I was like, this looks interesting. I want to see what the rest of the series is like. So here we are. Okay. Let's give this game a try. Oh my god. Are you for real? Okay, select the language you wish to play this game in. Well, jeez, what the fuck? If you've heard this story, you have to hurry and tell someone who hasn't. Or else he might just come get you. Please name the protagonist. Default Brucey, 8 letters max. Sure, I'll go with Brucey. The work is partly based on a true story. Sure, I believe you. Hey, have you guys heard of the Cannibal Boy? Huh? Of course, it's the urban legend everyone's been talking about. Jade James, don't you two remember why we're in Jade's room with this heavy textbook on counseling psychology? Huh, I really don't. Why was it again? Because we need to study, we have finals tomorrow, remember? You know how strict that professor can be? Do you want to fail the course? Oh my god, there's a spider on my wall. What the? Just a second. The spider is no longer on my wall. Jade, I was only studying abroad for a year. Since when did Brucey become such a downer? Did you get dumped or something? How should I know? Come on, Brucey, tell us what's wrong. We'll make fun of you together. So anyway, have you heard of the Cannibal Boy or not? I have, but so what? You know the recent multiple homicides in the area? According to a friend of a friend, all of the victims saw a certain boy. Then a few days later, they were found dead in their rooms, their bodies and limbs gone, with only the heads left behind with a horrifying grimace. Even creepier, they all had human bite marks on their necks. Do you know what that means? Their heads were ripped off by the Cannibal Boy with his teeth. Is a boy's bite really that strong? Hey Brucey, what's wrong with you? You never questioned the logic of an urban legend. Otherwise it's no fun. Oh, okay, sorry. But yeah, I've heard about it, so... Well, do you know about his past? What caused him to become a bloodthirsty man-eater? Beats me. What, are you going to do a case conceptualization? Or draw his genogram or something? Why not? We get to hear an interesting urban legend, and get a refresher on counseling psychology. Let James finish the story. Part 1. The Cannibal Boy. Cannibal Boy was originally just an ordinary kid who lived happily with his dad, mom, and big sister. But one day, his mom cheated on his dad and left the family, leaving the dad become an alcoholic, and everything changed. What? Oh shit. Oh god. Big sister was just desperately for us until the dad said, "You won't play with me, I'll play with your little brother." Oh, ew. Oh shit. This is... Oh. Oh, this is... Oh, ew. So the sister just stopped resisting and let the dad keep abusing her? She wanted to be a martyr at such a young age, huh? How very admirable. Well, that's what kids are like. Kids don't know who's responsible for the things that happen. That's why some end up believing that their mother left because they were a bad kid. The big sister was exactly that type, so even though the dad's abuse got worse and worse, and all her little brother did was cry, she shouldered it all. How can a kid deal with that much abuse? Why wouldn't you want to run away? You don't understand. When parents don't act like parents, kids, especially ones with younger siblings, will grow up and take on the role of parents. The big sister became a mother for her brother and her dad. Besides, the way the dad abused the big sister, it's hard to say who the parent was. Yeah, like you've seen it? After every assault, the dad would lie on top of the sister, crying his eyes out. Mama, don't leave me. I hate you, Mama. What the fuck is wrong with this guy? What the fuck? Those kinds of villains are the worst. I bet there was something up with the dad's mama, the Cannibal Boy's grandmother, right? If you keep speculating like that, the story will never end. That's why forces of pure evil in anime and comics are proper villains. You don't have to consider their background stories or anything, you can just blame them. Like Jade says, if the dad was a proper villain, the big sister would have had no problem blaming him, but sadly he wasn't. And in addition to putting up with her dad's abuse, she had to comfort her little brother, who wasn't good for anything other than saying, "I'm sorry." Don't worry, I'm fine. Fine? The sister swallowed back tears for the whole family. Tears boiled in her little body. How could she be fine? To make matters worse, even though the sister protected her little brother from physical abuse, he couldn't escape the mental abuse. Unfortunately for him, The little brother looked a lot like his mom. That's right. The mom who left with some other man. He looked like his mom? Oof. You want... Jeez. Dad prepared a lot of meat every meal and forced the brother to swallow it down. He wanted the brother to grow big and strong and not look so much like his mom. Even when the brother became scared of the sight of meat and threw up whenever he ate it, Dad was relentless, shoving big chunks of meat into his mouth every day. The more the dad abused him, the more he cowered. The more he cowered, the more the dad abused him. And like a curse, the dad's fears came true. The fuck? Apparitions that no one else could see and heard voices that no one else could hear. Finally, he came to the conclusion that evil spirits were to blame for everything. They were really human, they wouldn't be so mean to me. Dad, my teachers, my classmates, they must all be possessed. Geez, couldn't he have asked for help? Who could they have asked? The useless teachers? Tell any of your teachers I'll video game myself and persona your sister. You don't want to see your dad and big sister die, do you? I know you're a good boy. As you can tell, the dad's quite the character. Jesus, he's such a drama queen. I haven't even got to the dramatic part yet. Don't blow your load so early, man. One day, the little brother came home, heavy-footed as usual, and opened the door. From inside the house came the familiar smell of alcohol mixed with blood. A broken bottle, a bloody knife, the dad's face stabbed to a pulp, sister with her wrist The little brother didn't have to read the TOS note on her desk to realize what had happened. So it was too much for the big sister after all, or maybe I should say I'm impressed that she lasted so long. When he picked up the bloody note on the table, though, what he saw was... It's your fault. It's your fault, 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 it's your fault. And in that instant, something snapped inside of the little brother. My sister would never write that. She'd never write anything to hurt me. It must have been, that's right, an evil spirit. The little brother's brain rewrote what happened in order to protect himself. The voices he heard and the illusions he saw served to protect the little world he shared with his sister. The evil spirit in Dad wanted to possess my sister, but she didn't want to hurt me and wanted to free Dad, so she Persona 3'd him and herself. But they aren't the only ones possessed by evil spirits in this world. My teachers are, my classmates are, and so many more people. If I don't do something to free all the people who are possessed, won't my dad and sister have died in vain? There's a reason for all the suffering I had to endure. So it's my turn to exorcise all the evil spirits. Is that where the physical exorcism part comes from? Jeez. But I can't just leave my dad and sister behind like this. Oh, I'll pack them up and take them with me. What the fuck? Oh, good thing Dad trained me to put lots and lots of meat in my belly. But it'll be a huge hassle for the police when they find the blood but can't figure out who the victims are. We've got to leave them the heads at least. What the fuck? So the Cannibal Boy packed up his dad and sister and set out on a journey to exorcise evil spirits. That's the Cannibal Boy's past. That's why only the heads of his victims are ever found. It's the last remaining shred of his conscience. James? Why is your version of the story so different from the one I heard? Huh? How does your version go? Well, when the Cannibal Boy was a little kid, his dad always locked him out on the balcony. He would knock on the window every night, begging his dad to let him in. Once you've heard this story, you have to tell someone who doesn't know it yet, or he'll come knocking on your window at night and beg you to let him in. As soon as you open the window, he'll bite your head off and eat your body. Hold on a sec, Jade. So now that I've heard the story of the Cannibal Boy, I have to tell somebody who hasn't, or he'll come and eat me, is that right? Yeah, something wrong? James, you wasted time telling me this story at the risk of failing the course. Don't tell me. Yep, you got me. How can I worry about failing some stupid course when I might get eaten tonight? Why, you little... Okay, I don't care in the slightest who the Cannibal Boy might be coming for tonight. Hey. The real problem is that you fabricated too much of that story, James. Seriously, how could you possibly know what that dad did to the Cannibal Boy and his sister at home? Sure, people shouldn't question the logic of an urban legend, but you just made that stuff up. That's different. It's more fun to spice it up, though. I dare you to disagree. What? Are you kidding me? I think you're confused, my dear. Are you honestly seeking truth in an urban legend? Bruh. The essence of an urban legend is in the blending of facts and lies. The Cannibal Boy's past may not have been that tragic, or it could have been even more tragic. He may not actually exist, or he might really come and eat Brucey tonight. That's what an urban legend is all about. What's the fun in knowing all the facts? Okay, fine. As an urban legend, it's bound to have some lies mixed in with the truth. Nothing is certain. But there's one thing about your version that's definitely certain. And what's that? I don't know if the dad and big sister were really possessed by evil spirits, but I'm pretty sure that "it's your fault" came from the sister herself. Oh? Why do you think that? People who are too scared to stand up to bullies shift the blame onto people who are nicer than themselves. So they bully people and cower from the bad people, which means everyone gets bullied by some bad person. That's not the work of an evil spirit. They're all just so-called nice people. The fuck? There we go. The title. So we have a boy that we don't know exists or not, who may think that everyone's possessed by some evil spirit, and thinks that the only way to save them is by killing them and eating their bodies, but leaving their heads? Is that it? By the way, have you guys heard of doppelgangers? Huh? Of course, it's a popular urban legend. We just talked about the Cannibal Boy and now it's doppelgangers? What happened to studying? What about our finals? Brucey, there's something I have to tell you. The earlier discussion enlightened me with a singular truth. What kind of truth? We give up on finals? Then it's winter break for us, starting now. Oh, really? I'm going home. Hold on, let's just take an hour break. After that, I promise we'll study, okay? Alright, one last story. We all go down together, bitch. You realize I can hear you, right? A doppelganger, which literally means walking double, is basically the phenomenon where you or someone else witnesses your double. I'm sure you've heard of it. Sure, who hasn't? Okay, then do you know what happens if you ever meet your doppelganger? Your doppelganger kills you, right? Anything else? If your doppelganger dies first, you'll die under similar circumstances. Oh, so you're dead meat either way. Did you also know that doppelgangers aren't entirely fictional? I'm sure we've all come across something similar in our lives already. Know what I mean? Twins. In TV shows and comics, twins often find themselves in similar situations, right? Just like real doppelgangers. I don't think this is going all kinds of places. The main characters of my story are twins, a boy and a girl. Even though they were fraternal twins, they looked nearly identical, as if they were really doppelgangers. The little brother had feminine features and the typical signs of puberty didn't show. If he had put on the same clothes as his twin, people would have definitely mistaken them for sisters. All too often, boys who look like girls end up getting bullied. But not in the little brother's case. His big sister was extremely protective, and if anyone was mean to her little brother, she was quick to bully that person back. An eye for an eye, that's how the twins operated. Under his sister's protection, the little brother never felt insecure about his femininity. But he became very dependent on his big sister. Reading words is hard. Meanwhile, the big sister always needed someone to rely on her to uphold her self-esteem, and she grew to be quite passive-aggressive. If her brother ever failed to notice something that she did for him, she would get overly frustrated and ignore him for days on end. Adorable, isn't she? But regardless of all that, the twins were very close, almost as if it was only the two of them in their own little world. That is, until the big sister met a certain handsome guy. Wait. It happened this past spring. The twins were both taking Intro to Philosophy at the time. One day, they were discussing animal rights in class, and the professor asked whether it was okay for people to eat cats and dogs. Is that Professor Moore or something? What's there to think about? You eat an adorable fur baby today, you might as well eat a baby tomorrow. Could you just let me finish my story, please? Sorry, I just really love animals. There was this handsome guy who usually sat in the corner and rarely talked, but that day, he raised his hand and spoke. So we can eat chickens, pigs, and cattle, but not cats or dogs? That seems awfully inconsistent to me. Hearing this argument, the little brother had a response. People don't love things equally, that's just human nature. I think that kind of inconsistency is excusable. I don't normally eat animal meat, but that's just a personal choice. If a dog or cat lover still chooses to eat other kinds of meat, I don't think that's any less consistent than my preferences. The two went at it, and support was split in the class. As class ended, the professor praised both for their well-constructed arguments. The big sister supported her brother's argument, but she was also impressed by the handsome guy's logical persuasiveness and the articulate way he talked. What's the matter, Brucey? It looks like you were about to say something. What is it? You're talking about Grit and Hans, aren't you? Grit and Hans? Who are they? James, you really are something. Do you really not remember them? They were in our year and you had classes with them. They majored in psychology as well. Gret and Jade, in particular, were very close, but half a year ago, the two of them disappeared. What? Seriously? Jade, I thought Gret was your friend. Isn't it a little mean to gossip about your friend's disappearance? Look at how sincere my eyes are. Are these the eyes of someone who gossips like that? How should I know? I'm not a telepath, I can't read your mind. Precisely because Gret and I were so close, it makes sense that I want to figure out what really happened. Isn't that right, James? I guess? What's going on here? Even if she really knows the truth, why would she want to talk about it now? What is Jade thinking? As time went on, Hans and the handsome guy clashed in heated debates over all kinds of issues. They became rivals and best friends. When the student association planned a big event, Hans formed a group with Gret and the handsome guy, and then Gret invited me, so the four of us ended up working together. That was really fun, but also super exhausting. After a successful event, Gret suggested going to an amusement park after classes on Friday to celebrate. However, our professor suddenly decided that Hans and I were in charge of the next presentation. We needed the time to prepare, so only Gret and the handsome guy made it to the amusement park. And that's where something magical happened. Did they kiss? As soon as the two of them arrived at the park, it started drizzling romantically. They both had umbrellas, but they acted like they didn't, and huddled under the handsome guy's umbrella together. They were suddenly so close. She just said she didn't go. How does she know all this? I just know, okay? Don't interrupt me. Wait, what? They stayed at the amusement park until it was dark. When they finally left, there was an amazing night view all around them. It was incredible. On a whim, Gret pulled out her phone and played her favorite song, Don't Fall for My BFF. The handsome guy said, wow, I love this song too. And they had a great time talking about music. They walked through the evening, humming songs together. They got so close that the back of their hands accidentally touched. And then, they were holding hands. Na 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 na. Don't read too much into this, but are you interested in anyone at the moment? There are two I think I might have feelings for. Really? Me too. Is one of them here with you right now? Yeah, it's you. That was the moment they confirmed they had feelings for each other. But feelings is such a vague word. Gret didn't realize she had an actual crush on the handsome guy until the day she invited him and me to a movie. A movie that Hans had recommended. Oh yeah, that movie was so good. It It was, especially when the girl finds out that the guy she secretly loves is into her best friend. That was pretty heartbreaking. Where is this going? Huh? So you've both seen the movie already? Oh, well, I just happened to see it with a friend. Oh, I see. Gret recalled the handsome guy saying that there were two people he had feelings for. One was Gret, and the other must be the one he went to the movie with. Thinking about it threw Gret into a jealous fit. That's when she realized that she'd fallen in love with the handsome guy. From that moment on, she couldn't get her head out of the clouds. Gret herself thought a 20-year-old shouldn't act so love-stricken. But what could she do? She was totally obsessed. Gret went on several dates with the handsome guy, and it was always romantic. She fell more and more in love, then finally she decided to confess her feelings. Gret, I think we should just be friends. I see, you've fallen for the other person then. Sorry, I should have realized how I felt sooner. No, it's not your fault. Can you tell me who it is? Can't say exactly, but it's someone close to you. I wonder who... We should just be friends. Those words started it all. Oh, I forgot to mention. Besides listening to music, Gret loved to cook. Every time she made steak, she invited me over to her place. The Saturday after she got rejected, Gret invited me over again. Normally, we laughed and chatted through dinner, but that day, Gret didn't say a word. The atmosphere was unusually heavy. Hans was out with a friend too. The only sounds were that of cutting and chewing meat. Gret's steaks were usually cooked medium, but that day they were rare. Whenever she cut her steak, I could see the bright red juice bleeding out. Hey, do you think I'm kind of an attention seeker? Gret finally broke the silence, but started on a disturbing topic. What's wrong? What makes you say that? You know how I told you that my dad was very strict when Hans was little? My dad would lock him out on the balcony for every little mistake. Hans would knock on the window all night long, begging my dad to let him in. Do these stories tie together? And every time I'd let Hans back in the dead of night, but my dad always found out the next day and beat Hans up. It was all my fault. It was your dad who beat Hans up, not you. I know, but if I were Hans, I'd blame my sister's meddling for making my punishment that much worse. I still can't mind my own business. It might look like I'm always doing stuff for Hans and others, but I only do it for the attention. Everyone knows, and... shit. But they're just too nice to say it. Whatever people think about you, if you had just minded your own business back when I broke my leg freshman year, I don't know how I would have gotten through. Sometimes I think if I hadn't broken my leg, we wouldn't be such close friends. It was a kind of destiny, don't you think? Besides, you're not a telepath. How do you know that Hans or anyone else thinks you should mind your own business? Sorry, you always have to make me feel better. Don't say that, we're friends, aren't we? Jeez, she always did this, that sentimental... That's why she had no friends. Huh? Every time she felt insecure, she never said anything. She just pushed herself to the edge, but still wanted everyone to notice. Let anyone stand that. But that's what made her so appealing. Hi, Starfy. We're doing something spooky. Are you? Love seeing Gret riled up, and sometimes I'd invite Hans, but not her, right in front of her face, or ignore her birthday and say, oops, when was it again? A few days later. I'm okay. Just winding down. Yay! I wish you guys could have seen her face. The poor thing was so adorable. What the... Oh, there is something wrong with this character. What the... Oh, that is... Oh. So she just did shit on purpose to see her suffer because she liked seeing it? So what's wrong? What's on your mind this time? It's the handsome guy. I thought he was interested in me, so I asked him out a bunch of times. But it turns out he didn't like me after all. I must have been so annoying hanging around him like that. I don't think... And you know what? He likes someone else already. Uh-oh. Oh. Stabbed the steak hard with her knife, and red juice splattered across my face. Oops, I'm sorry. It's okay. You're the one who went to that movie with him, aren't you? I knew it. It's all your fault. Your fault, your fault, your fault, your fault, your fault. And then she killed me. I know this sounds corny, but in that moment I saw murder in her eyes. In that instant, she really meant to kill me. Just thinking about how many times Grant must have simulated in her head how she was going to do all that horrible stuff. Oh, what is wrong with her? Why is she... Yeah, what the fuck? What the fuck? And she just stared at me, bit her lower lip. She put the knife down with a trembling hand and never touched me once. Why you? Why does it have to be you? If I hate you, I'll lose the only friend who listens to my problems. Yeah, and honestly, I think you'd be better for it, considering how she actually thinks about you. So, it was like a bucket full of ice water thrown at my face. I felt robbed in disillusion. It's so promising, but Grant totally... You're just like my dad. It's never your fault, is it? If I blame you, it's like I'm the bad guy. Perhaps to Gret, the villains in her life who weren't quite evil enough, like her dad and me, were the worst. She wanted to shift all the blame on us, but she couldn't because we weren't completely at fault. We shouldn't see each other for a while. I need to be alone. As I listened to Gret's words, I told myself I had to be patient. Not yet, at least not now. Gret is still just a bud, but sooner or later she'll flower and secrete her sweet neck. What the fuck is wrong? Why is the main character friends with this person? What the fuck? Just walk out of the room. Just leave. Get out of there. Oh my god. What the fuck? What the fuck is happening? After our confrontation, Grant got visibly depressed and had trouble sleeping even an hour a day. Every time she got the song Don't Fall for My BFF In her head, she couldn't stop the sadness welling up inside of her. Why not me? Why her? Why didn't you want my love? Why do you want hers? These thoughts continued to haunt Grit. And it all started and ended so quickly that Grit couldn't take it. And now that it had ended, time was so slow that Grit couldn't take it. Wait, okay. She just wanted to go back before any of it had happened, and perhaps she would only have had fun memories. Meanwhile, Hans knew that something wasn't right and asked Gret what had happened, but she refused to say anything. If you really understood me, I shouldn't have to explain. You just know what I'm going through. I guess no one in this world understands me after all. Hans didn't even know that Gret was in love. How could he have comforted her? But he didn't give up. Even if Gret doesn't want to tell me, I can be there for her anyway. And it works surprisingly well. Gret, the steaks you make are delicious. Can you teach me how to cook them? I want to learn. Really? Well, of course. I'd be happy to. With Hans by her side, Gret finally started feeling better. Gret's heartbreak was a blessing in disguise. Gret may have gotten rejected, but she got that much closer to her dear brother Hans. That's a good story, but wasn't this supposed to be an urban legend? What about the doppelgangers? Who said I was done? You can't really diss Brucey for blowing his load too early. If Gret refused to say anything, how do you know she had sleeping problems? What kind of thoughts haunted her? Or what kind of interaction she had with Hans? Listen to yourself, and you accuse me of spicing my story up. Excuse me? No, Jade didn't. What? Nothing, I just don't think Jade fabricated anything. I think it's what actually happened. Wow, Brucey, you understand me better than my own parents. What? Brucey, you're usually such a skeptic. Has Jade put you under a spell or something? Do I need to wake you up? It's because the handsome guy is Brucey, isn't it? I'm not sure, but I get the feeling that Jade still has a joker up her sleeve. There's no good reason for her to make up such little details. How much does she know? How does she know? What are her motives? That's the important part. Yeah, why is she telling this story? One day at the end of the semester, Red and I stayed on campus until nightfall to finish off some essays. Then we headed home together. On the way, I could tell Gret was holding something back. It was obvious that she wanted to tell me something, but she wanted me to take the initiative and ask her what was wrong. Wow, like I never did. What is wrong with her? Oh my god. So he just kept walking on and on. A chaotic evil. We had gotten to a park near the campus when Grit finally opened her mouth. Jade, you're mad at me, aren't you? Huh? I got pissed that the guy, fell for you. Even though it wasn't your fault, I'm really sorry. It was such a shock. Gret was taking the initiative to make up with me? I mean, fuck. All I wanted was to see her emotions explode. What the fuck? What the fuck? But that was okay. I still had a joker left to play. Hey, forget about it. But I think you've misunderstood, Gret. I pointed towards the park, and Gret turned her head to look. What the hell did you do? Oh no! Oh, the twist is gonna be that, isn't it? That the handsome guy was gay and liked her brother. There, Hans was nuzzled up against the handsome guy's chest, and the handsome guy's arms were around Hans's delicate shoulders. This wasn't a hug between friends, they were obviously making out. And now she's gonna... murder her own brother or something now. I did go to that movie with him, but just as friends. He was clear about that. The one he's really into is someone close to you. Much closer than I am. Oh, come to think of it. The last time I went to your place, wasn't Hans out with a friend? Who do you suppose the friend was? What do you think they did? Did they go to an amusement park with... Oh no, why? Why are you doing this to her? Why? Stop! Hans, you. Not quite convinced yet? Fine, just listen to the lovebirds talk then. Why? You love that amusement park way too much. Don't you ever get tired of it? Never, as long as it's with you. I'm having so much fun today. Thanks for asking me out. I've been looking down lately. I hoped it would cheer you up. Well, Gret's been in a horrible mood lately and she won't tell me what's wrong. I'm worried that she's missing Playboy who's stringing her along. Oh, it's you! It's him! It's the guy you're on a date with! If anyone ever betrays Gret, I'll skin him alive and eat his flesh. Yeah, silly boy, little do you know that the one betraying her right now is you, Hans. Haha, Playboy, where did that come from? I ask you out and all you can think about is your sister. Gret will always be my number one, you're number two at best. That's some sister complex you've got. Did Gret spoil you when you were little? I don't know what you mean. But my sister was always nice to me, yeah. Isn't Hans just the sweetest? Even during his date, he was thinking about Gret. But to Gret, his words only made her feel like Hans was using her to make himself look good. Like I said before, my dad used to beat me up when I was little. Gret didn't want me to be the only one to get punished, so she'd always try to help me out, and we would get beaten up together. That's how much she cared about me. But me, all I did was cry and let Gret console me, forcing her to say she was fine. Can't blame yourself, it was all your dad's fault. No, it wasn't my dad's fault. Back when our mom was around, he was really, really nice. Hans. My dad's not the one to blame, it was all because of the evil spirit. Is Hans the cannibal? What? I knew that once I exorcised the evil spirit, my dad would be back to being nice again. Oops, did I say something weird? What I meant was, my dad was possessed by the ghost of his past. So you don't mean an actual evil spirit. You had me worried for a moment there. Sorry, let's not talk about that anymore. Sorry I reminded you of such horrible memories. Did Hans kill his dad? Is that what happened? It's fine. Hey, by the way. Gret says she's hanging out with Jay tomorrow and won't be back until night. How about coming over in the morning? Gret taught me a secret recipe. So Hans killed his dad. Gret is about to kill Hans? This is some Tekken family stuff going on. This is like the Mishima family. What a masterpiece. When I was in the lowest of my lows, you had the gall to pester me to teach you how to cook. And it wasn't even for my sake, it was to seduce him. That was what was raging through Gret's mind. I know, because I heard it. Of course I'd love to go, but I'm not a big fan of vegetarian meals. Vegetarian? Why vegetarian? Huh? I thought you were a vegetarian, Hans. What? No, I'm not. I just don't eat regular meat, but I'm not a vegetarian, silly. Hans is the cannibal. Hans is the cannibal. Hans is the cannibal, and he killed his dad. But that time you criticized my argument in class. I thought you said you didn't eat meat because you're a vegetarian. Are you just a picky eater? And what kind of meat do you prefer? Could it be the kind I'm thinking about? Oh, that's very naughty of you. Watch out or I'll eat you up. Ha 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 ha. That's some... Oh, she did hear and she was very angry. Then they kissed right there in front of us. Of course, Gert and I were the only other ones there, but it was quite the sight. The two lovers had no idea we were there and made out passionately for a while. Be careful on your way home. Don't get eaten by the cannibal boy. You are the cannibal boy. You are the fucking cannibal. I'm more worried about you. Do you want me to walk you home? No thanks. I can take care of myself, you know. Okay, but you be careful too. Remember, I'll be waiting tomorrow. Don't be late or you'll miss out on the meat. I thought Gret might do something, but she just walked away without saying a word. Maybe she was too angry to do anything. But I could see the bud of her rage growing larger and redder. Gret was about to bloom. It secreted her sweet nectar. What is wrong with all of these characters? The next morning, the handsome guy arrived at Hans's place on an empty stomach. There he found a table lined with meat dishes. Sweet and sour pork, pork belly stew, smoked sausage, steak salad, all sorts of dishes. The main dish was Gret's special steak, cooked rare just like that other time. Wow, what a feast! Sorry, I accidentally got too many ingredients. Considering how early in the morning you had to come, I was afraid you'd be eaten by the cannibal boy. He's just a man-eater, no need to fear him. There are plenty of vampires in the world. They suck the blood of the poor bit by bit just to make their own lives more luxurious, and we just look the other way. Unlike those vampires among us, at least the cannibal boy kills you on the spot and you die without suffering. If I had to choose, I'd go for the quicker death. Huh. Besides, the cannibal boy treats humans just like any other edible animal. So many people are quick to judge cat and dog eaters when they have no problem eating chicken, pork, or beef. Compared to those people who discriminate between animals, at least the cannibal boy is morally consistent. He treats all living animals equally. Sounds like flawed logic to me. Really? You want to talk about that over brunch? Eating cats, dogs, humans, blah blah blah. James, you wouldn't feel like eating if you were there, would you? Well, I'm not a freak like that. But forget about moral consistency or abuse. In my opinion, it doesn't require complex beliefs or a tragic past for a human to eat other humans. What the fuck? People talk about drooling over sexy bodies and refer to luscious breasts as melons. Those kinds of expressions are all over the place, don't you think? Plus English, Chinese, and Japanese all use eating-related words to refer to sex. We're so used to that kind of slang that we don't think twice about it. Perhaps in the collective subconscious, eating is essentially a kind of possession, a kind of intimacy, just like having sex. So if eating... What is this? Where is this going? It's such an instinctive thing. Do we need to ask why the cannibal boy eats humans? Do we really need to dig into what a tragic past he has? People want to fabricate his past because they're convinced he's a freak and a monster. He must have a very twisted past. He's not like us normal people. Do you even hear what you're saying? What I mean is, you don't eat cats or dogs, but not because you're an animal lover or because you're civilized. It's only because you happen to live in that kind of echo chamber. Excuse me? The only reason you don't eat humans is because no one around you does. You're just afraid that if you do, you'll be treated like a freak. I think I have more substantial reasons than that. Let's get back to the story. Hans, what kind of meat is this? Does it matter? Do you not like it? I do. I like it so much I have to know what kind of meat it is. The texture is like beef. It tastes like pork and it smells like lamb, but it's not restructured meat. Maybe a hamburger that's 70% pork and 30% lamb might taste something like this. But it hasn't been ground, it's a whole piece of meat. Where'd you get this? Huh. So you care more about the type of meat than how well I cooked it? Figures. You're Gret, aren't you? Where's Hans? Oh no. She killed and cooked her brother? What happened between us doesn't concern him. Don't drag him into this. Really? Do I have to spell it out for you? The handsome guy looked at the bloody chunk of meat and put his fork down with a shudder. If I hadn't played the bad guy, you know that, would have been bullied like hell. And now that he's all grown up, he's seducing guys I like behind my back? Also, your sense of taste. Oh, she's... I mean, to be fair, her homophobia, I think, is the least of her problems if she literally killed and cooked her brother. I wouldn't put being homophobic at the top of the list of her problems. Why Hans? Why not me? Give me a reason. Say something. I'm actually really curious why you're so convinced that you and Hans are identical except for your sex. The handsome guy stood up and walked towards Gret, and then he slowly gripped Gret's shoulders. His fingertips sank deeper and deeper into Gret's flesh, causing her face to contort in pain. That doesn't matter anymore. The only thing that matters is that you and Hans are twins. So what? So what if we're twins? Nothing much, just that you must be as delicious as Hans, I'm sure. The handsome guy was the cannibal all along? Huh? After that, Gret and Hans went missing. What? But they weren't dead. They both bloomed and with wild abandon before withering in vain, frozen in their most beautiful moments. All it took was a little push for a normal person like Gret to murder someone and feed the flesh to someone else. There's a lot you could do between nothing and killing your brother and feeding his flesh to someone. There's a lot you can do in between those things. Like, yeah, like there's 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 a lot of room between those two extremes. It's not normal. It's not. At that table, she was a Cannibal Boy too. Rep proved that, and she'll live on forever in my heart. Jade? You, me, the handsome guy right here, we're all the same. Humans are all birds of a feather. Consistent beliefs? A tragic past? None of that is necessary. Anyone can turn into an evil spirit. Part 3. Anyone can turn into an evil spirit. Does that mean... Wait, is Brucey the cannibal then? Am I playing as the cannibal? Anyway, I'm sorry. I spent way too much time on one urban legend. I hope you enjoyed it. Hans was slaughtered by his doppelganger. Gret died the same way as her doppelganger. They're both worthy of being called doppelgangers, don't you think? Bullshit. That's not what a doppelganger is. Jade only brought up that topic as a way to give away what happened. We are playing as the cannibal. What does she want? Does she want to blackmail me or see my reaction? Or did she just want to prove her pet theory that everyone's insane? And how does she know everything about Gret and Hans? By stalking them, spying, or maybe she hacked into their devices? Jade, why did you tell us this urban legend? Oh, come on, you of all people should know, Brucey. Hey, what the hell's going on? Were you two plotting to scare me or something? Is that why we're gathered in Jade's room? I think I understand why Jade said her eyes were sincere. They're the eyes of a writer evaluating her work. Even Jade herself is a gesture made to dance in her script. So now James and I have told our urban legends. Shouldn't you tell one too? If you hear the story of the Cannibal Boy and you don't want him to come knocking, you have to tell the story of his past to someone who doesn't know yet, right? What the hell, man? Why are you asking me this now? Yeah, because... Brucey... doesn't count as someone who doesn't know the story of the Cannibal Boy. Because he is the Cannibal Boy. What's so funny, Brucey? Ridiculous. There's no past worth talking about. You civilized people eat plenty of animals, but you point at people who eat cats and dogs and call them savages. It makes me sick. If you can't eat some, don't eat any. If you want to eat some, then eat them all. Is that hard? Is it really that hard to be consistent? That's all there is to it, plain and simple. Stop that, Brucey. You've got to leave him some hope. Just look at James's face. Can't you see it's filled with despair? How's the climax going to happen now? Do you realize what a nuisance it is when too many people find out what I like to eat? I always set an annual limit for myself, but I guess I'm going to go over this year. I guess I should reward my Jade's enthusiasm with an urban legend of my own, but I really don't like to conjure things up, so I'll let James here experience it firsthand. What the fuck? So the initial... So the first urban legend was somewhat of a mishmash, I guess, of Hans and Gret's past and what actually was going on with Brucey. So it's like a combination of the two for some reason. So Hans and Gret were not cannibals. Hans was convinced that everyone, or at least his dad, was possessed by an evil spirit or something. Unclear whether or not he actually killed his dad. Gret, out of jealousy, killed her brother Hans. Cooked him. And served it to Brucey. And Brucey was like, this tastes good. You must taste good too. What the fuck? What? That's the game, I guess. That was Case Zero, the Cannibal Boy. The fuck? Okay, I'm gonna see if there's anyone we can raid. What the fuck was that? What was that story? Okay. Let's see. It looks like I don't know how to read this channel name. Poajin Shoop, who is absolutely not Dot, is playing, I think this is Elden Ring? Let's go, Raider. Love Dot, she's super cool. Yeah. I'm gonna raid her. I think this is her, like, alt count. Alright. Let's go! Thanks for coming!